Hi there. Today we're going to take a look into factoring. We talked about factoring yesterday and experienced that a little bit. And today I kind of want you to see the visual of what's happening so that you can better understand tomorrow when we only work mathematically. So here on the screen, I am going to start actually with this example. So when we're factoring, it's actually the exact opposite of what we were doing with expanding. So when we're factoring, it gives us a total amount of what we have. Okay, so here you can see I have muffins and I have juice, getting ready for breakfast. Um, and we can see how many we have. So we all know how to count. We could count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 muffins, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me. We have 5 cups of juice. So I am just going to make sure that we have that in there. So we are presented with 5 muffins, or M, and, oh, I'm sorry, backwards, 10 muffins, and we have 5 cups of juice. So we're going to call that 10M and 5J. I'm going to make that just a little bigger. Boom, so that you can see it. So when you're presented with a problem and it asks you to factor it, you're going to be given something like this. So it's going to give you 10M plus J. You're going to have to take that and you're going to have to figure out, okay, how do I factor it? So we're going to go to the next slide. Okay, we know if you see, I'm just going to paste this in, we still have 10 muffins and 5 glasses of juice. So it says here our goal when we're factoring is to split into as many equal groups as we can, but we first have to identify a common factor. So it might be hard for me to see when I see the visual, but when I see the number 10 and I see the number 5, I know, hey, I can split those into 5 groups. So what we're going to do today is physically just rearrange it so that we can get a picture, okay? So we want 5 different groups. I'm going to spread these out and try to utilize my space as much as possible. So here I have 5 groups. I'm actually going to spread it way out. Here are my 5 groups of juice, okay? I'm now going to take my muffins and I'm going to pass those out. So I could be fair and go 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then I could just keep passing them out. I know if I'm splitting them into 5 groups, if I take 10 divided by 5, I should have 2 muffins in each group. So today is, I'm going to fix this. Today is really about splitting equally. Every group, all 5 groups, have 1 cup of juice and 2 muffins. So if I knew I have 5 cups of juice and 10 muffins, I can split that equally amongst 5 people. So I can pick 5 people to have this breakfast this morning, okay? And that's factoring. We took our total and we split it into groups. Our answer, so if this was the problem we were presented, I'm going to copy it and paste. Our answer when we factor becomes 5 groups of 2 muffins plus 1 juice, or just juice. Remember, you can have the 1 there if you want. But we start with our total and we end with how many total groups we have. Let's look at another example. Keeping with our food theme, we have apples and bananas. So here we can look and see, the bananas are really easy to see that we have 4 bananas. So I'm going to change this model. I have 4 bananas. And I'm adding how many apples? I need to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 apples. Okay, so I'm given the total. This is what I start with. If I say these are too many apples and too many bananas for me to eat, I want to share them with others, but I want to make sure I'm being fair. I need to figure out how I'm going to split these up. How many equal groups can I split them into, or how many people could I share this with? So that's what we're doing when we are factoring. So let's take a look. I'm going to copy this really quickly. Copy, and then I can paste it here. So we were starting with the total. We know that we have 4 bananas and 10 apples. When I look at the number 4 and I look at the number 10, I ask myself, what are the factors of these numbers, or what numbers can I divide them by? 4 can be divided by 1, 2, and 4. 10 has more factors. It can be divided by 1, 2, 5, and 10. I want to know what one they have in common. So when I listed them, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 5, 10, 1 and 2 are the factors that we have. Now, to group it into 1 would mean one person gets all of this fruit. Okay, we want to split it into as many groups as possible. So we're going to want to try to divide it into 2 groups. So if I do 4 bananas, 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2 in each group. So I'm going to put 2 over there and 2 over here. 10 divided by 2 is going to give you 5. So I'm going to put 5 bananas in each group. So I started with 4 bananas and 10 apples, and I'm ending with 2 groups of 2 bananas plus 5 apples. Now, the important thing to remember is we didn't get more apples or more bananas or less apples. We're taking the same amount that we started with, and we're kind of regrouping them or resituating them to make it look a little different. It's still an equal expression. They are equal to each other. We have the same amount of bananas, the same amount of apples. We've just kind of resituated them to rewrite them to give them a different name. Okay? So today we're going to focus on the visual aspect of factoring and what's happening. So you have 2 examples that you're going to do yourself, and be sure that you turn those into classroom.